Hello friends, welcome back to a new video and happy Independence Day wishes to all of you. So since this is the Independence Day, I wish to take your attention to a route of independence that could have happened to India, but not in the way that it had happened as per history. So you know that right now our transfer of power happened in 1947, August 15th, when the Britain, in the name of independence, had granted us a dominion status and the transfer of power had happened in a rather peaceful way. But you know that there was also another tradition of independence movement where it took a revolutionary militant turn. And during the later halves of 1940s, you know that it was spearheaded by Subhash Chandra Bose. So the purpose of this video is just to make you understand or to throw your attention to a possibility if India would have gained independence through Subhash Chandra Bose. How would it have happened? What would be the nature of Indian constitution? What would be the nature of Indian polity and the state? And even how would Subhash Chandra Bose be viewed in present day public today? Now, anyone who has read history or whatever be their political affiliation has a very much positive view of Subhash Babu Netaji, because he has fought for India and he has been martyred for India, and there has been so much speculations about his death. I'm not going into any conspiracy theories of that. So my only intention is how India would be if independence would have been happened through Indian National Army and the Subhash movement. I will tell my assumptions based on the historical facts, and this is an analysis that I make purely based on my personal opinion, so you can take it or leave it. So according to me, if India would have been made independent forcefully, I mean from the Britain with the help of Japanese and Nazi Germany, things would have been much more bad, and Subhash Babu Netaji would have been much of a hated figure rather than the position that he enjoyed today. And I have my reasons for it, because the Congress and Gandhi at that point of time, had their priorities very clear. They always felt that Britain is much more of a genuine lenient power compared to Nazi Germany or even Imperial Japan. So they sided with the British government during the time of war. That's the reason why even during the time of war, other than the Quit India movement, you don't see any other movement that was organized against the British government. Even during 1939-40, when Satyagraha was supposed to have been organized, it was done in the form of individual Satyagraha. So when the British kind of were ruling Southeast Asia, the Japan was advancing towards it. And when the Japanese reached the Southeast Asia and Singapore, most of the British officers left the island in the first boat they can, and they came back to India. But that is when they found a lot of Indian soldiers, and they thought that they could be used against in a war against British. That is when Captain Mohan Singh formed the Indian National Army, and it was kind of taken over by Netaji. And they were successful in liberating, for example, like Andaman Nicobar Islands, which were renamed as Shahid and Swaraj, and also Myanmar. Then they advanced into the Indian territory. They were fighting in the northeastern areas like part of Nagaland, Manipur, etc. But they were defeated, and INA soldiers were brought into a trial in the Red Fort. That's all part of history, and that in a way helped or bolstered the freedom movement more. But my concern was just simple. If that movement would have reached Delhi, and if the INA would have been successful, do you think that the Japanese would have kept quiet, or they would have just handed over the power to Subhash Chandra Bose and said like tata bye bye, now India is yours, have rule it in such a way? No, it would not have happened. First of all, Subhash Chandra Bose, when it comes to his polity and its state, he clearly had its affiliations towards a more militaristic state. This was the bone of contention between Gandhiji and Subhash Babu, right? And he had his inclinations towards Mussolini and Hitler and even the Imperial Japan. So if such a scenario would have happened in India, there would have been a huge massacre, believe me, that could have happened in the Indian mainland. And by that way, Subhash Chandra Bose would have been a much hated figure than what he would have been today. And I also doubt that Japanese may have, at that point of time, could have eliminated Subhash Chandra Bose altogether also. Because why I say this is because I just wanted to want you to understand, and I would point out an incident that happened in the Andaman Nicobar Islands, which is known as Humphrey Massacre. It happened in 1944 when at least 44 plus of the volunteers were massacred by the Japanese army. I mean, it happened, although it is not much discussed in the history books also. So, do you think that if the Japanese were kind of successful in the Indian mainland, they could not have, would be much less brutal? No, they were much brutal force compared to the British. The fact is very evident because even when the Myanmar was liberated from the British, at some point of time, the local population turned too much hostile against the Japanese because they found the Japanese much more brutal than the British occupiers. And if you look into the mainland China, there is an infamous Nanking massacre. Infamous, you just Google or you just search in the YouTube about the Nanking massacre. Innumerable and intolerable cruelties were done on women and children. Infant children were killed en masse by the Imperial Japanese army. So it is very evident that, or it is in a way, it was lucky for us that a freedom movement didn't take that turn. Rather, it took the turn through Gandhiji and Congress that we got a transfer of power. Otherwise, we would not have been seeing a democratic India. We would have been seeing a state which could have been much more similar to a, what you can say, like a military republic of a militaristic state like Thailand or Vietnam, or like you can say such kind of states where the military, or even say Pakistan, where the military will have an upper kind of hand. The democratic institutions and traditions would have been nullified in such a way because Subhash Chandra Bose had such a kind of idea, such an idea of polity that is behind him, and his thought process was also somewhat similar to that. That is one thing. And another thing is that if the Japanese would have taken over, or if some way if the Second World War had shifted in favor of the Axis powers, the India that we would see today would not have also happened. So that's what I just wanted you to understand and have a thought about how the freedom movement went through during that time, and the kind of freedom that we enjoy today is also because of certain right decisions at some right point of time. And if otherwise it would have happened, like fate knows what would have been in store for India. So just saying this, thank you for listening to me. Do subscribe for more such videos. Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a great Independence Day. Stay blessed. Thank you.